Most people wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect day, the perfect mood, the perfect chance. But life never gives them any of those things. Brian Tracy once said, "Self-discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." It's not your talent that determines your success. It's your ability to command yourself when everything inside you wants to stop. So today, let's decode the mind of Brian Tracy, the man who turned the psychology of success into a simple rule of life. If you can control yourself, you can control your world. Brian Tracy calls it the law of forced efficiency. It means, you always have enough time to do the most important things. But most of us never do. Because the brain is lazy, it wants safety, not growth. You say you'll start tomorrow. You say you'll do it when you feel ready. But later is a drug, and every time you use it, discipline dies a little more. Tracy believed discipline begins with one brutal truth. You will never feel like it. Success doesn't wait for your mood. You act first, feelings follow later. That's why high achievers look robotic. They've trained their emotions to obey their decisions, not the other way around. Tracy spent decades studying CEOs, athletes, and leaders. He found something remarkable. They all felt stress, chaos, and fear. But they didn't try to control the world. They controlled their response to it. He called this the iron law of control. You feel positive about yourself to the degree to which you feel in control of your own life. Every time you blame the economy, your boss, your past, you hand your power away. But when you take responsibility, you reclaim control. And with control comes calm. Because control doesn't mean predicting the storm. It means standing firm while it rains. Brian Tracy often said, "Successful people do what failures don't like to do." What did he mean? It's not about liking pain, it's about acting before the emotion changes your mind. In those 3 seconds between thought and hesitation, everything is decided. You want to study, your brain whispers, later. You want to run, it says, too cold. You want to speak up, it warns, too risky. Discipline is born in that 3-second window. When you do the thing anyway. Because the more you obey your goals instead of your feelings, the more powerful you become. You become the master of your own mind. Tracy used to say, "Clarity is power." Most people lack motivation because they don't know what they truly want. So he built a habit: write your goals every single day. Not type. Not think. Write. Because writing is not for the paper. It's for your brain. It rewires what you focus on. When you see your goal clearly, your behavior starts to align. That's why disciplined people often look obsessed. But that obsession is simply clarity in motion. When you know your why, you don't need to push yourself. Your vision pulls you forward. Brian Tracy borrowed this from physics and turned it into psychology. He said, "Everything happens for a reason, and there are specific causes for success and failure. If you want wealth, study the causes of wealth. If you want peace, study the causes of peace. If you copy the actions, you copy the results. The universe is neutral. It doesn't punish or reward. It just mirrors your behavior. And that's the ultimate responsibility. You are both the cause and the effect of your life. So every morning, ask, what cause will I create today?" There are only 2 kinds of pain, Tracy said. The pain of discipline, and the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. It's painful to wake early, to save money, to control your emotions. But it's far more painful to look back and say, "I could have." He believed maturity begins the moment you choose long-term rewards over short-term pleasure. That's not punishment, that's evolution. Because every time you choose discipline, you build self-respect. And that self-respect becomes fuel. Once you've tasted the power of self-control, you'll never want to live without it again. Tracy said, "The more you like yourself, the better you perform in everything you do. But self-esteem is not given. It's earned, by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you follow through, you prove you can trust yourself. That trust becomes identity. That identity becomes destiny. So discipline isn't about control. It's about love. The kind of love that demands you become your highest self. Get a little better every single day. 1% a day may sound small. But in a year, that's 37 times better. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about direction. Even when you fail, you're failing forward. And that, he said, is the difference between the average person and the achiever. One stops when it hurts. The other uses the pain as proof they're growing. Brian Tracy once asked his students, when you look in the mirror 10 years from now, will you meet a stranger, or someone you built with purpose? Self-discipline is not punishment. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's saying to yourself, I deserve the life that effort creates. And when you begin to think this way, you stop chasing success. You start attracting it. Because the disciplined mind is free. Free from fear. Free from excuses. Free from the weight of someday. So ask yourself right now, what is one area of your life that's waiting for discipline to show up? Start there. Start today. If this message awakens something inside you, share your thoughts below. Comment with one line. I choose discipline over doubt. And remember, every week, we decode the greatest minds that ever lived. If you felt a shift today, subscribe to Human Code. Because the world changes only when humans do.